wind has picked up. It's definitely a lot cooler, and we can get tons and tons and tons of sanding done. Dave's in the transom, sanding everything, so we should be good for progress today. Right guys, this might sound weird because I got my mic on, but let's see how we go. Hey. Yeah, take a break and come see the mess I've made. Right, and then just like that, we have a semi-solution. Let me take you outside to show you what we have. Right, so we've got a couple of holes and a crack that's going to need some repairs. Some cracks and stuff over there. Generally speaking though, it's not too bad. All the way to this side. But as big as this piece is of cheap ply, we do still have a section it couldn't cover. So I'll need to get another small strip and then overlay the two. This is to buy us time while we work on how we're going to do this new part of the doghouse. But before I can do more of that work, I need to come along and fill all of these little holes and cracks. This is just a general fix. This is all surface sort of holes. It's where the rail was screwed into, so I just filled the holes with thickened epoxy, flattened them over. Some areas that I've ground out, and I'll sand over this and fare over this later on, and then that'll be a decent enough repair, I think. Why is it always silicon? It's always silicon. Why is it always silicon? I don't get it. Anyway. Awesome. Thanks. So initially I had thought I was going to keep these strips in place, but despite multiple efforts to rejuvenate them and sand them and oil them and varnish them, it's just not working. They're all starting to lift and bend, and I discovered that they're just really stuck down with very old rusty screws and silicon. Just a wad of silicon and pressed down, which really infuriates me. So these have got to go. I'll find a different solution here. How does it look? Lots of flaky bits still?
Quite a lot. I brought my knife in here, and I'm just getting some of the bigger ones. I'm just opening up and sanding over.
What's under that raw fiberglass?
Yeah.
Alright. I thought there'd be way more layers of paint. Maybe not.
No, there's not layers. There's not layers. Let me look here. Psych. There's a lot of epoxy repairs going on here. Like over here, dude.
Yeah, I think there's a reason why they did these steel things, and that's probably the reason for it. There's that piece of wood behind that.
Yeah.
That's glued in with epoxy.
Yeah, but there's a lot of other little patches here that are just not
I cannot
really
wait
obvious.
to come in here with a 2-part epoxy primer and a spray gun, and everything is just going to be white.
Yeah. No, that's going to be great.
Good morning. It's the next day. We got a ton of stuff done yesterday, lots of prep for what I was hoping was going to be a week of just crossing T's and dotting I's. But the weather's changing very, very quickly on me, so I have to work on sealing up the doghouse today. So whatever happens when I leave here today, there needs to be no way for water to come in. And unfortunately, I don't know how far I can go with that. It looks like rain tonight, so holding thumbs. All right, quick update on what I've done. I've sealed off 2 edges over there and over here. I've used a piece of glass and some epoxy, just so that it's one solid bit. Same on this side. Unfortunately, the wind's getting pretty bad. And then over here, I have filled in the high spots with multiple layers of glass, and then did a full layer on top of the very top of it on both sides. So when this is dry, it's sand and fair. The wind is kicking up something awful. I do not see myself finishing any of this work before the rains arrive this evening. So I'm going to have to think of another way to seal off the doghouse. Is going to take a very, very long time to do. I feel like this valve should really be there. I'll check on it in like 10 minutes. I don't think there's a lot of diesel in here, but we'll empty it all out. Right, so upstairs has to dry a bit. I'm busy draining the diesel tank, but I've got to kind of keep my eye on it. So I'm just sort of sitting here, making sure the boat's rocking a bit, the wind is blowing quite hard, so I don't want that to pop out. I don't mind that it's going really slow and steady, so I'm happy with that. Once this is all emptied, I can remove all of the remaining filters and all the remaining pipes, and we can carry on in the engine room. It's now 20 to 1 in the afternoon, so I think by 2 o'clock everything should be dry enough on deck, and hopefully I can find some cheap paint or something and start making plans with covering up that board, because it 100% will rain tonight. Alright, so very quickly I'm just going to take this cheap white wood primer and I'm going to do the outside of this board that's facing the elements. Once that's dry, I'll do another top coat of any random cheap color gray I can find. Right, the next day. That little fix that we did seems to help with the rain. Not much rain came in. There was a little bit of moisture along the deck this morning, but that looks good. Sun is out for now, but there's going to be more rain coming. The epoxy and glass work is cured, so that needs a sand and a fair. I might be able to do that later, and as well as sanding all the other bits that we faired yesterday, including the bits we stood on while we were painting the board. And then the tank is empty. The day tank is empty, so I should be able to remove that. Maybe still in this video, let's see. And then that'll buy me a lot of space and room to move and continue on in the engine room. So the rain has come and it is the next day, and the plan is to remove the tank, and I don't know if there's enough time to do it all in this video, but first I need to do a little bit of looking around because I have to unscrew a bunch of things. So let's see what we have. So the first thing is this. This is an overflow, I think, of some sort. And I don't know where it goes, but I'm going to label it as such and then take it off. And then I've got these two at the top here, and I don't know what they're for, but they go down as well. Also, one goes into this filter here, I think. And the other one disappears somewhere down there. All right, so that's three things that I need to remove. Then there's the actual fill, which I think should be straightforward. And then there's another fill here, but that goes all the way down. And it's looking pretty grim, but I think this is the actual fill to the diesel tanks in the keel. Then I have the drain, and then the main out over here with a tap on it, which I can turn off, which is great. And then I just have to take those straps off, and this should all come off really easily. And the fact that I can already just move it like this with my hands, it makes me feel good about everything. So let's give it a go. Alright, so I'm super annoyed right now, but I want to end this week on a high. Yay, tank is off. Not so yay, it still had some diesel in, and the little sprocket tap at the bottom broke off, and it broke off and everything, as I was moving it up the corridor, started spilling out the end of the tank, which is annoying. Immeasurably so. I hate the smell of diesel, and now it's all over the place, and I've spent the last 45 minutes mopping it up, wiping it with soapy water, re-mopping it up, re-wiping it up. But it's okay. The tank's out the way. I have to find out how that was done. I don't see how it could just break off, but it looks to me like it's done this before. It looks very much to me like that was just glued on with some kind of epoxy or plastic glue. Yeah, so that's a problem that would have probably manifested itself at the worst possible time. So I'm glad I found it now. So to end the week on a high, aside from my frustrations and this awful smell in the boat now that I need to continue cleaning, we got it off, and I now have access to all those filters, and I can now start taking that off, which will be next week for you guys and for me in about an hour's time. Maybe I'll have some lunch, and then I'll deal with that later. So thank you everybody for joining this week. For everyone who's liked and subscribed and commented, please continue to do so. There's a buy me a coffee link down at the bottom if you feel like helping out, and there's also a PayPal link. Use it, don't use it, it would be appreciated. I will see you all next week. So cheers guys, thank you.